starts now.
Hey everyone, my name is Nicole Carino and I actually go by Coco. I use she, her pronouns and I'm a freshman studying computer science. I'm also your current freshman representative. I want to start off by quoting Amy Poehler, who once said, "Find a group of people who challenge and inspire you. Spend a lot of time with them and it will change your life." This year's board was that group of people for me and they really did change my life. I wasn't sure if I could be a part of board next year due to a variety of reasons, but I knew how much being on board meant to me. Being on board introduced me to a lot of amazing people with whom I built strong relationships with. There were so many cherished memories made with them, as well as moments where they pushed me to do better. There are days where they really bring the most energy out of me, and other days where I really feel like I'm going through it, but I seek comfort through them. I want to join board not only to be a part of that experience again, but to also create that experience for others. Because of how determined I was to not give up so easily, I decided to seek out advice from someone who inspires me. I talked to the current president herself, who had a lot going on in her own life, but was managing to lead our board successfully anyways. I shared my concerns about not living up to expectations because of my situations and insecurities that I had, but after hearing her advice and insight, I felt more confident about running for this position. The position I'm running for is culture chair, which wasn't originally my first choice, but after considering my situation and interning for DK, I realized that I really did enjoy this position. First off, I want to be able to teach my child about their roots, and I believe that being culture chair would be a great preparation for that. Additionally, I think the position of culture chair fits more within what I want to actually do in FASA. I grew up feeling very passionate about learning the Philippine language and culture, and I want to continue learning more about the Philippines, but also share my knowledge with others. It's one thing to hear about traditions and customs, but it's another thing to actually experience it. This is why I believe I'm best fit for the position, because I grew up living with those customs. I was born in the Philippines, and growing up I'd go back to visit every couple years or so, and that has really taught me a lot. Of course, there are the mainstream things we hear about, like riding jeepneys and tricycles, or when we mano or blessed our elders, and foods like adobo, sinigang, or Jollibee. But I feel like I had other experiences that aren't as mainstream that really allowed me to have more perspective on Filipino culture. One of my recent memories is trying frog for the first time, which isn't something you often hear about. I was called to the table and encouraged to try it by my dad, and surprisingly it tasted like chicken. While trying it out, my dad explained to me how his family wasn't very privileged in the Philippines. They weren't very well off financially, and one of the only ways they were able to put food on the table was catching their ulam, like frog, and cooking it themselves. Another experience was seeing my mom's family live together in one complex. The plot of land they owned has 4 houses which they divide upon. I believe that this is a sweet and endearing custom in the Philippines, which partakes in creating that Filipino characteristic of having strong family bonds. However, my favorite experience is going to sari-sari stores, which are like convenience stores that are like outside your house or outside your neighbor's house. My dad's house in the Philippines is next to one, and my tita who lives at my mom's complex owns one. Going to a sari-sari store is always a good time because I always enjoyed saying "pabili po" and buying a variety of snacks or candies and getting soda in a plastic bag and drinking it with a straw. However, being the vendor in one is just as fun because not only did I get the chance to familiarize myself with my neighbors, but I also was able to really practice my Tagalog. To take that further on, I take a lot of pride in my ability to speak Tagalog. Talagang ginusto ko mag-aral ng Tagalog at ginawa ko. And that means I really wanted to learn Tagalog, so I did it. I practiced by speaking it to my parents, even if I made mistakes, and watching teleseries and listening to OPM. Although it wasn't the ideal way to learn Tagalog, I managed to do it, and this brings me to my goal as a culture chair. As one of my goals is to find time to try and teach Tagalog to those who are interested. I've met a lot of Filipino Americans and even non-Filipinos who wish they were able to speak and understand Tagalog more. Because I'm going part-time and online next semester, I believe I can make the time to teach Tagalog, whether it's basic words, more complex ones, or whatever people request. I know that this upcoming year isn't going to be easy, but I know that with the right people, I'll push through and make happy memories even during the hardest times. FASA isn't just a Filipino org that I joined, but FASA really is my family.
Thank you, Coco. We will now begin with your